What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So, we moved and I hate it. That's the short version of it. Now, do you want the long version? You can stay for the long version because it's going to be a little bit long. And this may or may not be broken up into multiple parts. But the short version is, we moved and I hate it with a very strong passion. Now, there are some things that I don't care for and that I like. And then there's some things that I absolutely hate. And that's a very long list because, come on. It's been a nightmare since we moved in. And I don't even know how to get started on it. So, let's get started on it because this is going to be a fun video. So this channel is mainly meant for the dogs, but I guess since this has a lot to do with the dogs, I can include this in this channel. But it's a long, very long story, and it's a lot of things that I hate about this house and hate about the property and hate about everything in the area in general. So we didn't move very far, and we moved for the yard. But at the time, we didn't realize there was a lot of things wrong with this house. We found another house that had even more things wrong with it, but it had more property and was farther away from a lot of people. Well, this is closer to people. So that's a big mistake. This is a nightmare. I can't wait to get out of this house. And we've been here for what? Not even a month yet. Maybe a month now. February 1st, it'll be a month. I hate it. I'm miserable. Let's get started as to why. Let's start with number one. So we have neighbors. We have neighbors here. We have neighbors there. The dogs are kennel trained. I turn on music. So most of the time they don't bark. And if they do bark, it's one at a time. Very rarely do they bark or really make any peeps. During the day when we let them out to play, of course they're going to bark and run and play. But the barking is not like all at one time. It's maybe there's a squirrel and they're barking. Or they're barking and playing with each other. So the other night, 6:30 p.m., let me just say this actually. These neighbors suck. They suck. They are horrible neighbors. So it was about 6 o'clock at night in the evening. And I have the dogs out playing, they're running, and I go to take everybody in. So as everybody knows, Ace is struggling. He is having some problems. But I go to pick him up, and he does not want to get up. So I go to pick him up, and he bites me. And I say a cuss word or two. And I holler, oh my, you've got to be kidding me. And my fingers are bleeding, and I'm in a lot of pain. And at that point, it's raining, so I don't want to leave him outside. So I cuss real loud, and I go take everybody in. I do roll call to make sure everybody's there, just to be sure. Everybody's there. About 10 minutes later, the cops are shining a light through the weenie shed. They're on the opposite side of the gate. The gate is locked, of course. They're shining a flashlight through the weenie shed. So I go outside. I say, okay, what's going on? You know, hi, what, yada, blah, blah, blah. And they say, your neighbors called the cops because they heard screaming and hollering. I hollered for maybe 10 seconds because I got bit on the finger by a dog. 6 o'clock in the evening, not even nighttime, not even close to it. So, okay, you know, whatever. I get that they're worried. Fine, whatever. You know, it's not a big deal. Then we find this chick stalking around the fence, trying to see in the backyard. This isn't the first time she's done it. She's done it multiple times before, and we just figured it's not a big deal. She does it again a couple days later, stalking the fence line, trying to see into the yard. Following the fence and trying to peer into our yard and stalking our fence line on our property. You've got to be freaking kidding me right now. Nightmare neighbors. I thought the first neighbors were bad over at the other place because they've done some bad stuff. This is even worse. She called the cops on me for hollering one time because the dog bit me. Or the dog bit me. Not even that late, 6 o'clock in the evening, 6 p.m. I checked the time. It was 6:10 when the cops came. You've got to be kidding me. I have call logs from my husband, calling my husband, telling him the neighbors called the cops on me. And I have text messages. The neighbors called the cops on me. These neighbors are great over here. They've got two weenie dog or a weenie pug mix and a chihuahua, elderly chihuahua. They're nice. I like them. They're super sweet. They're young. They're probably about my age. So it's safe to say already with them, I'm ready to get the heck out of this house. I'm ready to be done. I don't want to be in this house anymore. So there's that. Number two is the things the landlord should have fixed and never fixed. And when we brought it up to him, I didn't see a problem. There was no problem when I was here. There's problems everywhere. So the first problem is the floor. There are multiple parts of the floor where the floor is sinking and sagging. And he even brought it up and said, I know it's sinking and sagging. Well, there's part of the floor by the back door. Well, like where it completely sinks and sags. And it's starting to crack. We have to walk around it so it doesn't crack. And our clients and our friends have brought it up. Hey, the floor is sinking and sagging. Brought it up to the landlord. He ain't going to fix it. That's a foundation problem that has to be fixed. But he hasn't wanted to fix it. So there's that, the foundation problems. The floor is the worst, especially by the back door. So I have to go around it to make sure that it doesn't do that, which I have to walk by the wall in the corner to make sure we don't have any problems because it's starting to sag and crack, and I'm going to eventually fall through if I'm not careful. Third thing, outlets around the house don't work. The ceiling fan doesn't work. There's all kinds of electrical problems that could have been fixed, which, okay, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. Number 4, I think I'm on number 4 now. The garbage disposal didn't work and was clogged. Oh, it wasn't even clogged, it just didn't work. And that provided with the dishwasher not wanting to drain and work, which we finally got that fixed. But he said, I didn't see any problems. There was no problems when I did my walkthrough. No idea what you're talking about. The plumber came out and said, your landlord knew about this. This had been going on for a while. There's no way he didn't know about this. So, of course, most likely he didn't know about it and he just didn't care to fix it or pay for it. So he eventually had to because it was clogging the sink. And we couldn't use the dishwasher and the water would stay in there for days at a time. That is not sanitary. That is disgusting. Number 5, there are roots going through the pipes, which creates the shower to clog and the toilet to clog. Water come up through the shower from the washer and drain out the driveway because there are roots growing through the plumbing and through the pipes in the driveway area. There is a drain coming up through the concrete in the driveway. He said, I have no idea what that is. There's no way. You've had this house for over 5 years that you don't know what that is. So the water's draining out. We've had the shower clog multiple times. He said, fix it, take the roots out. So the plumber took the roots out of it, and it's happening again. He doesn't want to pay to fix it because it's a couple $1,000s fix. We are not fixing it. That is not our responsibility. It should have been fixed. He knew because the cap had been taken off. The previous tenants in here took the cap off so it would drain. He knew about it. He hasn't fixed it. Most likely the other tenants told him about it. There's no way that he didn't know even before he rented it out because he said he lived here before. So I absolutely dread this house. Another thing, the lattice, the house, broken, needs to be fixed. He hasn't fixed it. We're going to eventually fix it and put chicken wire over it so the dogs can't get in and out because they've done that before. And then another thing, the AC goes into the attic and there's a pipe coming down and it has unclamped. And we told him before we moved in that it needed to be fixed because it dropped down. Refused to fix it, won't fix it, wants us to pay for it. So you know what? We're going to eventually fix it. But the problem is he doesn't want to fix it. It came down before we even moved in. And Chris told him about it. He hasn't had anybody out to fix it. So we're going to have our plumber fix it. Hopefully there's nothing wrong up there in the attic because Chris can't get up in the attic with his problems. And I'm not going up in the attic. So I hate this house. I'm dreading this move. I'm miserable. So I hate it. I hate it here so bad. The neighbors are a nightmare. These neighbors are horrible and they're sucky. I can't wait to be out of here in a year. But that's why I hate this house and I hate this move. This is miserable. Of course, it could be worse, but this house was horrible. A horrible, horrible choice. Horrible, horrible option. Even with the property, it's just not worth it. But anyways, that's it for this video. This is a nightmare. The dogs are happy until they get under the house. Anyways, oh, and the fencing is not properly installed. So that's nice too. Morning got out and took off, as you can remember from my other video. And I fixed that myself. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hate this house. What's your horrible house story? So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. I'll see you guys later.